Hello, I am Lisa J. Stocks. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Stock Talk episode. I just put out a video on SPMO's Reconstitution, so make sure to check that out after today's live if you haven't done that already. And let's get started. Daryl, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. I did see your email and I will be watching that when I am driving today to go pick up my daughter from work. So message has been received. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hype my videos throughout the week. Make sure you're commenting on all of my videos and live streams that you see. And let's get into today's show. Make sure to drop some comments. Let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about. And we're going to get started by talking about the Mag 7. Whether it's the Mag 7 or other notable companies, many are having a pullback. And, I'm going to be here continuing to do my regular videos and shows, whatever the market is doing to us. Bear market, bull market, of course, correction, pullback, whatever we're going through, I'm going to be here and I'm going to keep on sharing what's going on with my portfolio. This is a part of investing. This is a part of the stock market. This is a part of the process. This is what I always say that, we have to be ready for these times. I am much more of an investor than a trader. And so I'm okay with this. I'm not ready to tap into these positions. I'm just focused on knowing that I have good quality investments that will recover based on the fundamentals and the research. There's no guarantees. There are definitely, I have to say this, investing does carry risk, but I think that I've been putting in the work to have an understanding, invest in quality funds as well as individual stocks, knowing when something is an investment and something is a trade status, and being willing to put on that stop loss and have it cut automatically from my portfolio so that I'm never stuck diamond handing something in my portfolio. And the drops that we've had lately, I don't have a stop loss on those major companies because I am willing to wait for the recovery. Now, war times, going through what we went through with COVID, those are extreme circumstances that we're not going to be used to having an understanding of. Maybe not even have a time period with COVID. There was no time that I can think that we could reflect upon during our lifetimes to look for a similar experience to know how the stock market is going to recover. But war times, this administration and what's going on, somewhat, but we just have to be ready for it and realize that today's circumstances are not going to last forever. So guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you hit the like. If you're not already subscribed, stay for a few minutes, listen, and see if you enjoy what goes on this channel. This is what I talk about: investing, staying out of debt, building wealth for yourself and your family. Fast Eddie, Supreme, Elevated. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in and chatting so far. All right, so I started off with the chart up already because I use stock analysis today in a different way. A lot of times when I'm using it, I'm putting on different ETFs for comparison, but they also have a tab where you can put in those individual stocks. And I know it's going to be small for you guys that might be watching me on a phone, but I'm going to be talking us through it anyways. So talking about those Mag 7 companies, all but one, Apple, is down more than double digits. And I have this chart on year to date. So Microsoft is down 26%, Meta down 20%. So I would say those two, as far as the Mag 7, are at the biggest discount. And those are actually two companies that I am working on building up two of the smaller positions when it comes to the Mag 7 in my portfolio. But what I am buying, never a suggestion for what you should buy, hold, or sell. You have to include into your portfolio what's right for you. But those are the two that are most heavily impacted right now. Next, going from on the highest end, Tesla down 19%, Amazon down 13%, Google's down 12%, Nvidia is down about 10%, and I said Apple is at 8%. And out of all these positions, Apple is my largest. About 5-6 years ago, when I got started investing into individual stocks, Apple was one of my go-tos, and so I didn't get to 100 shares on that one yet. I'm about 60 or 61 shares, but one of my largest positions. It is definitely my largest individual stock. Outside of, I would say, Realty Income is a REIT, so a little different there, but that is the only other one where I do definitely have that full over 100 shares. So what's going on with all of these companies having these major drops, significantly down from their 52-week high? Nvidia it's still the AI leader, but investors are taking profits. Other companies are being pretty much penalized, like Microsoft, for putting so much into their AI spending and trying to advance in that way. We saw just this week we have some lawsuits going on related to Meta, as well as that's touched on Google with trying to stresses about keeping viewers safe, addictive practices when it comes to the different platforms, child safety. But they use child and women in a lot of the posts and the articles and the things related to the lawsuit. But someone just commented on one of my shorts that it's everyone addictive. It's not just for the kids. It's basically an issue that's impacting us all. So Nvidia. Okay, so what's going on with Apple? Let me put this back. Yeah, I think that's the way I had it. So Apple, we have iPhone 17, demand still strong. And this one is kind of on the other end of the spectrum as far as AI. They have not been spending a lot on the advancements yet. So there's still room for them to grow in that area. But I hope that they really do. There is a strong ecosystem and people just naturally gravitate and stick with the whole iPad and all the different things, the MacBooks, and I'm one of them on most everything. So we shall see what continues to go on with them. But there are some companies that, if you take a look at the PE and just the forward guidance, the future revenue, we can see, even though it's down right now, depending on your risk tolerance and what you want to build up in your portfolio, you have to really figure out if you're a person that invests outside of your 401k, outside of funds, or even if you do stick predominantly with funds, they're going to be heavily weighted into these names. And so just find out for yourself, do your research, find out where you're comfortable, and then really have your eyes open to see if you have the extra funds right now, if you have the opportunity to buy more and buy and hold and wait for the future when the recovery comes. Now, I'm a person, this is another thing, personal preference. I've been sticking with not really being stressed about not being diversified into some of those areas that are thriving now, because they have not been thriving over the last 5 years or so, as far as energy and those different type of sectors that are only doing good right now because of what we're going through with the geopolitical tensions and things like that. But I think my portfolio has been growing steadily by me having my investments in names like these, as well as funds that track the S&P and different things like that. So, all right, I see more people have come in. Thank you guys for coming in, chatting. I see Cindy and Investing with Rod. And let's see who else is here. Okay, so Cal. Hi from Sledge's Discord. Question, since I'm new, what is a stop loss and how do you use it in your portfolio? When I mention about a stop loss, it is a feature. Just think, I do mention these two things. I'll give you two quick definitions. And the stop loss is a feature that you put in a certain percentage or a certain price that you want to sell an investment if it drops by this amount. And so this will allow you to not be holding on to anything if it is having a huge pullback. So in the reference that I used it today, I was saying that I do not have a stop loss on the companies that we're talking about right now. For example, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, they're being down about 20 or more than 20%. So if I was a person that was beyond my risk tolerance for holding on to those, I would have a stop loss on, say, for example, it drops by 15%, automatically sell it because that's too far of a drop and I'm not going to tolerate holding on to that. So it does it automatically for you. But these are companies that I'm willing to take these amount of price movements on, so I don't have it on. But if there's something else that I incorporate into my portfolio, that's where I'm talking about straight trade status versus investing status. That's how I go about doing it. And then on the other end of that, I also use limit orders. And that is where I can put in an order to buy a full share of a certain investment at a certain price. And usually on the platforms that I use, that has to be a full share. So for example, buy a full share of SPMO at $112. So just in case, I'm out and about living my life, giving mom a ride or my daughter or something like that, working, driving, whatever it is, and my investment happens to hit that price that I've been wanting, it'll automatically buy it for me. So these are features that can help you on your investing journey, your trading journey, to make sure that you're getting in at those prices that you want or getting out too. So let me take a look at the chat. Thank you, Vincent, for that super chat. I appreciate you tuning in, being a channel member, and being such an awesome supporter. So guys, make sure you like the video, the live stream, give it a thumbs up. I'm trying to get to, I think I listed up there 75 likes today, and I'm only on vertical, so we should be able to easily keep track of the counts. If you're just coming in and are taking a second right now to give the live a thumbs up, give me an update on what like number you are in the chat. Okay, so are there any particular Mag 7 stocks that you're watching closely? Do you invest into individual stocks, or do you look for funds that are heavily weighted in any particular stock that we're taking a look at here? But whether it's the individual stock or the funds, they are going to be heavily weighted in these names. I just put out an update on SPMO. I mentioned that at the beginning of the show. Make sure you check out that video if you haven't done that already. And Google, who is down about 12% on the year, this is year to date only, is now about 8% of SPMO. And Nvidia is the most heavily weighted in that fund, and Nvidia is down 10%. So I hold a position in every single one of the Mag 7. And like I said, my most largest position is Apple. I would say Meta and Microsoft are my smallest positions that I more and more recent years added on. So let's take a look. So Microsoft, Tesla, robo-taxi delays, competition from, other companies that are putting out EVs. Meta, they're still thriving with their ad revenue, but are dealing with these lawsuits, which is something that I'm sure we may not realize it, but is something that these large companies are always dealing with, different lawsuits. But right now, in addition to what we were already going on with the oil prices and all these other factors, pulling down some of these companies even more to see them having such large lawsuits. And like I said, some people are profit taking. I was actually talking to my daughter, and she was telling me about a conversation that she heard going on with someone else, and they sold their VOO. And yeah, my daughters, both of my daughters know you don't sell your VOO because you're stressed about it's falling. And if you are of an age where you're ready to tap into your investments, you should have made that shift before now and not be stressed about what's going on in the economy, or maybe just be shifting a portion of your portfolio into something that's more conservative. But I have years to go, and so I'm not investing. My investments are not for tomorrow, and so I'm ready to wait for the recovery when it comes to my portfolio. And I would never be selling a fund that tracks the entire S&P 500. So guys, let me know your thoughts on what's going on with these companies. Is anything a surprise? Are you stressed? Is your portfolio really is it hard to look at? Are you not looking? Are you having that urge to sell anything even though you're at a loss? I am not. I am actually, anything, ready to build into certain positions, ready to just, be patient on others and just keep going. So let me take a look at these comments. I see Rod is over here writing like a little paragraph. Let me go back and see what Daryl was saying. My retirement account is quite down a bit, but it's okay. I will not need the money for 10 years. See, that's the type of mindset that I'm taking on right now. So just not being overly stressed. Now, you have to be responsible on what you incorporate into your portfolio, because I hate to have to say it, because I really have worked to create a portfolio that I'm never of the mindset of I'm going to lose money. I may be down. It's unrealized until I actually, if the day was to come that I sell something at a loss, which is very rare. And so I think about it like that. The stock market goes up, it goes down. Now, I'm in the building phase. I am an investor. So I just have to be mindful about being on top of planning for when those days come, when it is time to sell my investments, because the whole concept is to buy low and sell high. But I'm in that middle part right now where I bought, I'm building, and now it's just hold for years and years and years and years, and then, get to the finish line. So then Rod is saying that really means a lot to me. The hard work is starting to pay off, and comments like yours give me a way to go even harder. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I think I missed something in between there. But it sounds like good conversation and encouragement and kind words are going on in the chat. And okay, so guys, if you just came in, give the live a thumbs up and let me know what like number you are. So there's all different ranges of, what's going on, and the way that the the market moves. So a pullback is considered 5 to 10 months, correction 10 to 20 months, and a full-on bear market is down 20%. So, are these Mag 7 stocks, are some of them really in different territories, but I think that they will all survive because they are all, quality companies. So I'm cutting back on investing to pay down debt, but I wish I could buy more on the dip. Yes. You shared that the other day, and I think you have to prioritize what's important. And high interest debt is something that we definitely need to avoid in order to really be able to put attention to our portfolios and make them thrive. So, depending on that interest rate, I'm sure you've put the thought in and know that you're making the right decision on what you need to prioritize right now. Okay. So now let's go on to some companies outside of those Mag 7 names. What do I have as far as my notes here? We were talking about Microsoft. Let me go back. Okay, Netflix. Netflix is raising their prices. And let's pull up Netflix too. Let me see. Netflix is raising their prices after they've given us so much headaches this year with the stock split, and then trying to buy Warner Brothers and putting all that money behind that. And now I think it's been a pretty short time, maybe about 14 months. And here they are again, raising their prices. And this is for all their plans, with ads, without plans. So the standard plan now is going to be raised in most countries, premium tier, ad tier, all of them. So is this going to make you guys, is anyone here planning on making any adjustments? I'm in the middle tier when it comes to Netflix. So I think my increase is $2. And yeah, I'm going to be paying my $2 and keeping my Netflix. It is one of the few, I think it's actually the only streaming service that I'm actually paying for. And I do have access to some others, but this is the one that I'm actually paying for. What do you guys rely 100% on free streaming services, or do you allow yourself to have at least one that you're paying for? What do you think about Netflix raising their prices? So the speculation, or from what I read, it's believed that this cash is needed to keep pouring into their original series and movies, especially with everything that I mentioned that has gone on with them trying to put that investment towards buying Warner Brothers. So this could be good news for the investors, because higher prices is going to be more revenue coming in from those subscribers. But we have to see in time what happens with this, because if people do cancel or the growth slows down because of this, we could be negatively impacted. But I'm thinking most likely everything will be fine. There will be not any decrease because of this, decrease to subscribers because of this. And a lot of people may not even notice that that increase unless they see it in the news. So this is another position that I do hold, only a little over one share. I bought one share right before that stock split. So actually, I have a little over 10 shares, because I bought it before the stock split. And then So yes, holding. It's one I'm definitely in the red on because of everything that it's gone through in the last few months, but going to give it time to recover. So let me take a look in the comments and see if anyone is sharing anything about how they're going about managing their prescriptions. I'm 100% free, YouTube only. I live 10%. I live off 10% of my income because I am so frugal. Okay. So 0 subscriptions over at Daryl's house. A little bit for me, but StreamYard is one of them, which I use to do my live streams and recording. But yes, I try to keep my subscriptions low and actually keep them to things that I actually use on a regular basis and I feel that are adding me value. So take the time to evaluate those subscriptions, the gym membership, all those different things. And I encourage you to decide for yourself if there's any that could be cut or if they could be lowered even. I don't feel inclined. I doubt my family would like to see it, but one way that I'm talking about lowering your subscription for me, it would be to go to that ad tier and potentially, save myself $10 monthly with the Netflix subscription. So are there any subscriptions that you have? Are they forgotten? Are they used? Really evaluate all of them and decide if there's anywhere that you could save some money. Happy Sunday to you, Anthony. Thank you for tuning in. Let me go back up to the top and let me go down. So guys, let me know if there's any questions. Oh, I'm over here highlighting Vincent's super chat. Thank you again, Vincent, for that super chat. And thank you, Anthony, for that $5 super chat. And note, keep up the great work. I appreciate that. And because I think Anthony would like me to take a second, I'm going to use my drop.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
Anthony usually makes a joke about the voice that's in my super chat. Thank you. So I figured he wouldn't want to miss that today. So thank you for tuning in. Let me take a look and see what you're talking about over here. No one knows the future or have a crystal ball, but I am waiting for the S&P to pull back to 6,200. Okay. No, don't we wish we had a crystal ball? Yes. Okay. All right. So guys, let me know. Lisa is killing it in her investing strategy. Thank you. Okay. All right. So guys, let me know if you want to chat about anything specific or look at any companies. I was at the beginning of the show, I was touching on the Mag 7, and we just talked a little bit about Netflix and what their strategy is in order to bring in some new revenue. And now let's go back to my notes. But yeah, guys, if there's anything you want to look at, feel free to drop it in the chat. Okay, so we know we've seen gas prices rising, oil prices rising, and so all those costs are going to be passed on to us. I was mentioning last week how, Uber, Lyft, they have it written into their contract. Obviously, it's something that is highly affecting them, the gas prices. So they're going to pass on those additional costs to the consumer. And I saw this article touching on how the U.S. Postal Service is going to be doing the same with an 8% fee due to those rising fuel costs on packages to offset their costs. And we all know this is tied to this Iran conflict. And the tensions in the Middle East. And so shipping companies are passing on those costs to the consumers. And have you guys seen any increased costs, or have you decided that, there's certain things that you can't ship or have to rely on certain retailers, or make changes in going about the way that you're receiving certain things? This is going to impact us across the board. Our groceries have to get to, everything has to get to the store in order for us to be able to go there and pick it up. And so it's going to make our grocery bills go up because everything is just going to get passed on to us. Companies like Amazon and FedEx are going to feel these costs, and it's going to squeeze on their profits, and then potentially, like everything else, like I said, it's going to trickle down to us in some way, shape, or form, or impact our portfolio as far as what goes on with the company if they do not quickly enough make moves in order to recover the costs that they're losing. So hopefully this is all temporary, and these gas prices and things get back to normal as fast as possible. But these packages, we're in a place right now where I rarely go to the store, other than for the supermarket. I'm saying if I need clothing or shoes or something like that, I'm one to look online before I physically go to the mall. My most local mall, there's really nothing there. I feel like I'm going to get much more variety and just have a better experience by shopping online. That's how things have trended for me personally over the last few years. So has the Postal Service or online shopping, have these things affected the way that you've gone about planning and making your purchases? Let me know. Okay. IONQ has dropped. I would have to look at that. That is not definitely, you are the quantum stock person, Anthony. I would not have an answer on that one off the top of my head, and surely it's not in my notes. Paying homeowners insurance for the year while I can do it. Okay. Now that's something I never do. I've never, well, at least when it comes to the car insurance, I usually have the homeowners insurance built into my mortgage. I still have a mortgage. I don't have any property that's mortgage free. So I'm usually paying my homeowner's insurance within my mortgage. Now, my car insurance, I pay it monthly. I don't pay this month premium in one shot because I figure I can hold on to that cash and just allocate it out monthly as opposed to paying them in the lump sum. I do that with anything unless there is some discount or benefit to me paying. I didn't even try yet, Anthony. I can try. I can take a second and look at that. But yeah. But yeah, those are the type of stocks that for me would be trade status most likely. All right, so now let's move on to something kind of out of the box of what we've been talking about so far. And let's see, these are some things that I've shared in my Instagram story throughout the week. If you follow me on Instagram, some of these turned into these segments that I'm touching on today. And this is one of those things that caught my eye. And it says here that 28% of US workers feel that their jobs are safe. And this is from Yahoo Finance. And this was based on a survey. So only 28% of US workers feel that they're potentially safe from job cuts right now, and that's pretty low. That's pretty low, and it's pretty extreme. And I wonder if there's more people in that 28% that really should have voted in a different way, and they're just outside of just not dealing with the reality of how things are going nowadays. So A lot of people are worried about layoffs, job changes, potentially losing their job to automation. Consumer spending is going to be down because we are, being so heavily impacted with these gas prices, utility prices, everything. There's not too much left for anything there's not so much flexibility for those just regular discretionary purchases that you might want to make when you go on Amazon or go to your local Target. So we want to have investors betting on the economy, and with things going on right now, they're not going to be able to do that. And on top of that, not even having security that your job is going to last. These are all things that impact the stock market and are going to impact some of these big companies and the way that we're able to spend and drive revenue to them. So, do you feel that your job is safe? Be honest in the comments if you are willing to answer that question. And I personally, after being laid off multiple times, I've taken on, I would say my shortest time frame that I was laid off I've been laid off at the 4-year mark and at the 5-year mark. So I think in my mind, I hate to have to think about it in this way, but it's been in my mind that at the 2-year mark, I really need to have my eyes open to being in tune with if I feel the security in my job, and be ready to potentially start looking outside of the company if I have not changed roles and see that, my job is needed and things like that. But things change so quickly that you have to have your eyes open to it. And I'm not, and this is very extreme for me because I'm not a person that actually likes to change jobs. I hate the process of interviewing and changing jobs. The very first job that I was on, I think I would still be with that first company if all of my jobs have ended to layoff. If it wasn't for that, and I think that alone says a lot about me. That I'm not a person that was on the move, but I see that you have to be nowadays in order to give yourself security. And in case you are newer to the company, or it's a company that is not generous with giving you a good severance and retention, you have to be ready to be able to take care of yourself and be on the move and be on track to not have any huge gaps or stresses when it comes to being able to take care of your mortgage and all those different things. So just a thought, just a headline that I thought was very interesting. Guys, let me know your thoughts on what I'm sharing today. Corner Clubhouse, Cobalt. Thank you for tuning in. I haven't seen you for a long time. I used to always be watching you when you would have your lunchtime live. I have to go back and make sure, guys, make sure if you have a chance, leave me some comments after the live stream or on a regular video so that I can make sure to check out everyone's channel, make sure that my notification bells are on to all in case I haven't been getting over to you guys lately if you are a content creator. But you can leave me comments after the live streams in general, just for the engagement. So let me see if I have a reminder here in the chat. Okay, here's one. Okay, I'm taking an official station break, guys. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up on this live. If you're enjoying this type of conversation about finance, investing, staying out of wealth, building wealth for yourself, your family, retirement, all of these type of things. Subscribe to the channel, check out some more content. And check out my referral links for the MooMoo Investing app, where you will get 8.1 APY for the first 3 months when you fund your account and get started with investing there. That is one of the platforms that I've been using for many years. That is where I hold my Microsoft, my Realty Income, SCHD, AMD. So I have many positions that I built up over there. You can invest with as little as $5 and check my referral link for that. I also have a link for KGU if you are interested in being a part of a larger community where there's options trading and learning from Keenan Grace, as well as all the other different crowns traders that can partner with you, and you can learn a lot if that is something that interests you. As well as channel membership. So that is another way that you can support the channel. I have 3 different tiers. Check all those things out. They're always in the description of my videos. So that was the full station break of the day. Can somebody, if you have a chance, one of the moderators, can you give me an update on how many likes we have on today's live stream? Multiple income streams and having an emergency fund are the best hedges against layoffs in the current environment. Yes. That is something that can be helpful. But I would say for me personally, my day job, that W-2 is usually always the most substantial, even though I have my own business. I support family businesses and things like that. That day job has always been substantial. Thank you for the update on 27 likes so far. I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes you have to refresh in order to see the numbers. Let's see. Okay, so you just gave your thumbs up. Thank you. So Vibes, thank you for tuning in. Well, Juliana, guys, let me know if there's any fun that you want to look at. I have to take a look at Anthony's pick, but let's just get through the rest of my topics of the day. Okay, so a couple of days I put out a couple of days ago. I'm not sure when I put out a video about the share split coming to Vanguard. And they have quite a few funds that are having splits coming up to being VUG and VGT. And someone said in my comments they wish that VOO was also on that list. It's not this time around. And guys, let me know if you watched that video, if these share splits are something that you like seeing in your portfolio. I think for me, I just really think about it more of as a psychological boost of being able to see your share size growing more quickly and things like that. As it's been, I kind of put that out of my head years ago, that I have to be limited, tied to the price of a particular investment. And what I mean by that is, if I'm only able to invest $5, $20, $50 into a fund or a stock that I want to incorporate in my portfolio, every single platform that I invest on allow for fractional shares. So I could do that. So I ran it down in the video. If it wasn't that video, it was another video where I think I was sharing that I had gotten to 1 share of SMH in, I think, about 8.5 weeks time it took me to get to that 1 share. But the point is that little by little, I invest what I have into what I want to have in my portfolio. And I think two of the highest price ones that I got started investing into before we had a split were probably Amazon and Google. We're up there at $3,000 a share a few years ago. And so that didn't stop me. If I had whatever amount I had on that particular day, I got started investing and building at those price points. And then a couple months later or a year later, they had a split and then that's it. But the same thing goes with my funds. I go about it in the same way. So whether I think it's VGT, let's see, is the most expensive one out of the funds that are going to be having a split coming up. Let me see. So VGT, the Vanguard Information Tech ETF, is $681 a share. So after the split, I think it's going to be about $70 a share. So don't let that hold you back. It's just a number, whether you're buying full shares. If you're on a broker that you have to buy full shares, now that's an obstacle. That is an obstacle where you're going to have to wait. I encourage you to, if it's not tied to your job or something like that, to maybe potentially change your broker or open up a new Roth IRA or something at a different broker so that you have that flexibility if that's something that you want. I love having it. Fidelity is, $1. Webull, $1. Other platforms I use like MooMoo and who else? I haven't been using Public lately, but I think that those were both $5 minimum. So all very reasonable, $1 to $5. And I know it doesn't sound like much. I definitely want to encourage you to be putting much more substantial amount through your employer plan, up to 15% of your income into planning for the future and for retirement. But something is better than nothing. And, there's so much cost when it comes to medical and just everything in general that we're going to need. So I encourage you to invest early, invest often, teach our children how to invest, and just keep on moving forward and be consistent. Even with small amounts, you really can build up significant positions. But I try to highlight that in my video where I was sharing getting to one share of SMH, but also sharing other investments that by being consistent, right now I'm doing $10 daily into SMH as a part of a challenge. And so, yeah, it took me 8 weeks and 3 days or something. I'm not sure exactly to get to that one share. It took me like 3 years and 3 months to get to 35 shares of VTI. So it's all about being consistent. And I just want to show you guys that, don't feel like you have to be held back. Don't feel like you have to wait for a share split. Don't feel like, anything should be delaying you on investing. The only thing, just like with what Daryl was sharing earlier, how he's focused on getting rid of debt, those type of things, getting rid of debt. Let me just go on to my ending, unless anyone wants to talk more deeply about anything related to these share splits. Hello, Joe. I'm going to move on to my next topic. Unless I'm taking a look at the chat right now to see if anyone had anything concerning these Vanguard stock splits before I move on. The market moved money from the inpatient to the patients. Yes. I think I saw not Anthony. I think I saw Rod write something. Hello, Bob. I've held VUG and VGT for a while now, so I'm excited about the split. Okay. Good afternoon. Thanks. You are the only one I've seen talking about the split. I appreciate the information and insight. Okay, all right. VUG is 20% of your portfolio. What has a higher allocation in your portfolio than VUG? It sounds like you might be like me, where you have more of a broad or international, like your core. Is it something like the S&P or total US stock market? And then you're building in those growth positions. I do have a stop for an okay. So, okay. I only see 2. I will refresh. Let's see. All right, I was just taking a look back. SPMO is the highest. Okay. So you are an aggressive investor, SPMO. So I have both SPMO, which is the video that I dropped at 2:00 today, talking about the rebalancing that just got put into place last Monday. So that's a momentum ETF if you're not familiar with it. So I think I'm at about 160 shares on SPMO. And sorry, I was checking my notes here. You mentioned SMH and started looking at that a few weeks ago. You started looking at that one. Okay. So yes, I do a mix. I definitely try to keep my retirement account more funds than individual stocks. When I talk about my individual stocks, a lot of them are in my taxable brokerage accounts that give me that flexibility that I can tap into for early retirement or other things that I want to, but I haven't been tapping in and taking profits yet. Like I said, I really feel like I'm very heavily in the building stage. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near those likes today because I have to pick up my daughter from work. But I'm going to be on for a little bit longer. So guys, make sure to keep the comments in the chat going. So I am an aggressive growth and we'll keep it that way. I've noticed that about you, Daryl. I think anyone who hears you or, has checked you out knows this. What did Bob share? I'm not sure. Okay. So let me get on to, it doesn't seem like anyone has anything to say about the stock splits. So I'm going to move on to something. I feel like whenever I have different segments for the show written down in my notes, they all seem to always blend together. So we probably touched on a few of these things, but I hope that you had this in place already. If you don't, then, we all have to start somewhere. And as you know, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. One of my favorite little short sayings. And so I'm going to try to talk a little bit about having a recession checklist, even though we are here already in the rough times when the prices are going up and the gas prices. And so, like I was touching on, it's going to trickle into everything else, the groceries and clothing and everything. So these are the times that we need to be prepared for. If you're feeling unprepared, let's talk about how you can be better prepared, because this is going to happen. Time frames like this are always going to be coming around. So we have to be ready for it. And so number 1 on the list is to have an emergency fund. Now, let me throw out a few different scenarios when it comes to that. Thank you, Joe, for reminding everyone to like, share, comment, subscribe. When I talk about emergency funds, now, I want everyone to start where you are. So I'm going to throw out a few different scenarios and you find the one that's right for you. Or, you know, if you are a parent or an aunt, uncle, if you could try to give encouragement to someone around you on these steps to make towards having financial stability. So, number one is to have one paycheck in your high yield savings account. So, if that amount is, you know, whatever that amount is tied to for you, then next step, have $1,000 in your high yield savings account. These are small numbers, but everyone is in a different starting place. So I'm going to start there. Then from there, maybe 1 month of all of your expenses, then working up to 3 months of your expenses. And then, you know, from there, potentially even as high as 12 months of expenses. Because just like we were talking about before with people feeling secure in their jobs, 28% of US workers not feeling secure. This is why we have to be ready for those gaps in our employment and not be spending all of our money. Have savings to fall back on and be ready for the tough times. So those are some points and thoughts that I have on how to go about having emergency funds and building step by step to have that in place for yourself. Now, I was talking to my daughter last night. I don't know if I have. And part of the conversation we were having, she was touching on that people want what you have, but they don't want to do what you did. So this is just like a few weeks ago when I did a live stream saying, you know, that expression about it must be nice. You don't know what it takes all the time. You're just seeing something from the outside. And I thought it was very interesting in what she was sharing with me. And I would say that one thing that I did that might not be impressive to some, but it has helped me greatly on my journey to building up my portfolios is that I went to work for nearly 20 years straight and contributed to my 401k. And with that, I was not always, you know, I wasn't making a substantial amount of money. This, you know, a lot of that time frame was before I even had a college degree. But what I did was not ever decrease, not ever take a break, not ever not even when I was, you know, the couple of times when I was unable to work and I was on short-term disability, like when I was on bed rest to have my daughter, or I had to have, you know, a minor surgery or something like that. Even during those times when my earnings were not my full 100% earnings while I was on disability, I might have been getting 70% or something like that. So even through those times when my income was being impacted, I never took a loan against my 401k and I never stopped contributing. So I think that that is an example of people want to build those six-figure portfolios, but are you doing what the next person did, even if they are on a low income? Even if you are, I know I was, no matter, you know, are you making the strides to do the things that you want to, that you see in others that you want for yourself? So I just wanted to highlight that as an example of something that I accidentally kind of fell into, but it has really helped me to be on track to build wealth. Now, back to the recession checklist number 3, and I'm going to touch on here is that credit card debt, which Daryl, Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle is my friend Daryl. I'm sorry, guys. I call certain people by their name if I know it, because their YouTube names are. mm, I just like calling them by their real name if they don't mind. And I've asked Daryl and Anthony if they mind. Slow and steady, yes. So credit card debt, pay it off first. It's going to kill that high interest is really going to just be eating away at the potential that you can have once that's cleared up and you can truly focus on your investments. So Daryl shared earlier that he's kind of putting a halt on investing to get rid of some debt that he has. So we have to find that plan that's right for us, or find the balance, but make sure that you're striving to get rid of the credit card debt so that you can then just focus on building for the future and having a solid foundation for yourself. So I've definitely been there too, running myself into a lot of debt that I had to dig myself out of. And so now I don't carry any credit card debts. I use my credit card for everything. I'm definitely a credit card person. So I just go about, unless I'm not carrying anything past that 1 month time frame, beyond the due date, unless I definitely have something in place as far as a promotion like 6 months or something like that. I actually need tires for my car right now. And I was at the tire place getting some prices recently. This was just a few days ago. And they're having a special. I would have to open a credit card with this particular there's multiple locations, but I don't think it's a chain thing like a whole, international place, but they have more than one location, and they had a special going on. And it's over $199 that you can get a certain amount of months to pay your taxes. So I'm not inclined to open a new account for that reason, but those are the type of things that having good credit will give you the flexibility to do. And so if I was interested in opening an account for that reason, it would then give me 6 months or so in order to pay interest-free for my tires, instead of potentially carrying something on my credit card that had interest associated with it. So the last thing is I wanted to touch on is just realizing that your portfolio could be thriving years down the road based on what you do today. So don't let these times turn you off. I'm definitely not going to, I'm here. If I'm not here on Sunday, I'm always putting out videos. I'm always going to be, I'm not turning my eye away from the news, the stock market, my portfolio. I'm going to keep on building. I'm going to keep on sharing, even if things are not perfect, which they definitely aren't not right now. This is just what we're going through, and this is a part of real life. And what I'm sharing here is my financial journey, and this is what it is right now. So I'm going to keep on moving. I'm going to keep on coming to you guys, giving you updates, sharing the real positions that I am in, as far as if I'm up, if I'm down, if I'm completely in the red on a certain position. If I haven't gone through all of my portfolios and added together like what I'm down totally, but I'm sure it's probably $30,000 across the board or even more. But that doesn't really matter, because that's not a number that I feel that I need to know. What I do know is that I'm not ready to tap into these investments, especially my retirement portfolios. And so what I'm putting the work and attention into is to know what I'm invested into, and realizing that, am I comfortable with what I'm invested into? Do I feel like I'm invested into quality funds, individual stocks? Am I in tune with what the forward guidance is, the revenue, the PE, the forward PE, analyst ratings, different things that outside of all of that, like these lawsuits and things like that, that can impact the positions that I'm holding. So that's what matters. That's what I'm focused on. And I'm going to be here continuing to show you what's going on, what my thoughts are, hopefully giving support and encouragement through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let me know on my little mini recession checklist that I was just sharing if there's anything else that you would add. That emergency fund, keep on DCAing, or keep on, even if you can, increase your investments right now. Stay diversified to the point that you're comfortable with. Don't panic sell, and just keep on going, keep on pushing. All right, so I'm going to take a look at the chat one more time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to leave me some comments. Check out my latest video on SPMO, and let me know if you guys want a deeper dive into any of the companies that are in that top 10 when it comes to SPMO, or I think I'm often talking about who's in the Mag 7, but then this is a look at the new top holdings in that fund, and I talk about some of these a little bit less. I've never talked about Johnson & Johnson. Very rarely do I talk about Broadcom. I did touch on Micron in a recent video. It was in the heat list when I did the top 5 on the heat list over at MooMoo recently in one of my videos, and Micron was on there. And it is currently the 4th holding when it comes to SPMO. And yeah, it was a new addition that definitely moved up when it comes to the weighting in that fund. And then we also have in the top 10, we have ExxonMobil, Lam Research, Caterpillar. So a few that I hold individual positions in are AMD, Google, as well as Nvidia. So different things. And it's not all about those individual stocks, but whether it's that you hold them as individual investments or they're leaders in your funds, it's a good thing to have an understanding of the way that they move, because they're going to impact the way that the fund moves, or definitely the way the individual stock moves if you're holding it in that way. So don't stress, keep building, keep investing. Don't panic sell. Evaluate before you sell if there is something that you feel is the time to cut from your portfolio. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week and throughout the week. So make sure to check out my latest. Let me see if I can drop it here. Just give me 2 seconds to see if I could pull that link. And let me just see, how many likes are we at? About 40 for the day. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can grab this. Thank you, Joe, for tuning in and being an awesome mod and channel member. All right, so I'm dropping the link to my latest video. Check that out. And I will see you guys next Sunday. And throughout the week, you will see me on YouTube, visiting people's live streams, supporting you guys, as well as dropping videos and shorts. So make sure to always leave me some comments and let me know that you are there. And I will see you guys soon.
And to investments, she made a lot on YouTube. Lisa J Stocks. Lisa J Stocks, that's the channel. Hey. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks. Yeah. You will make a lot. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks. Okay. She'll make it pop. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stocks.